We're so glad to be with you today to bring you some information about the use of specially trained assistance dogs to assist vulnerable individuals in the legal system. This slide shows you a shot of the homepage of the website whose URL you can see, courthousedogs.org. On this website is a great deal of information about how to develop a courthouse dog program and about how to use dogs in the legal system. We're coming to you from Seattle, Washington. I am Celeste Walsen, a veterinarian, and in a minute you'll hear from Ellen O'Neill Stevens, who is a retired prosecuting attorney. And that gorgeous dog in the middle of the slide is Molly, our courthouse facility dog.
What I'll be discussing with you today is how these specially trained dogs reduce the emotional trauma that many crime victims and witnesses feel during stressful legal proceedings. This is the King County Courthouse where I worked as a deputy prosecuting for 26 years. And I'd like for you to take note of that strange looking appendage coming outside of the courthouse up on the 12th floor. That is a sky bridge that spans 2 blocks over to the King County Jail, and it's used to transport prisoners on their way to court. This sky bridge will figure in the story that I'm about to tell you. This man raped a number of young girls, and as usual, he threatened to harm any of them if they cooperated with the police. Eventually, the truth came out. He was arrested, charged, and then he decided to represent himself. And in the United States, the defendant has the right to do that. When the prosecuting attorney on this case told the first young woman who was going to testify against him that she could expect him to be standing over her just a few feet away, she left the courtroom, went up to the top of the King County Courthouse, and walked along that sky bridge for 3 hours. It took the police that long to talk her down, and when they finally did so, she spoke with the prosecutor, and she told him that she could not testify against the defendant, and unfortunately, the prosecutor had to dismiss that particular charge against him. The reason why we're here is to tell you how these wonderful dogs, like our dog Molly B, who comes with us when we train legal professionals, help make this process easier for crime victims.
Research has shown that dogs reduce stress in humans in many different settings. Having a calm dog in your view reduces your heart rate and reduces your blood pressure. This dog, Karis, is working in a court in Kitsap County, Washington, where the judge says the attorneys are better behaved when Karis is in the room. The impact that dogs have on humans is stronger when the human is allowed to touch the dog. This young woman who is waiting for a hearing in the courtroom is petting Karis, thereby raising her oxytocin level and reducing her cortisol levels. She will be in much better neurophysiological shape to talk to the judge when it's her turn to approach the bench. I wanted to tell you very briefly about what types of dogs can do this work. In each of the courthouse dog programs around the United States, Canada, and in Chile, the dog is a graduate from an accredited assistance dog school, and the handler should be a professional in the legal system. Assistance Dogs International is the nonprofit that sets the standards for the training of the dogs and accredits the assistance dog schools. There are many accredited assistance dog schools within the European Union. These puppies represent one litter born at an assistance dog school after many decades of trying to improve the breed and develop the perfect assistance dog. The dogs are about 2 years old when they come to work at a victim support agency, and during that 2 years, they have had untold hours of expert training and socialization to make them safe in working in all types of environments.
These dogs are a huge benefit for children that are involved in the investigation of crimes. The good thing about this process in the United States for children is that it's become quite common for there to be child advocacy centers where the children get all of their services in one building. This is a house in Hamilton, Montana that fulfills that need. And of course, when a dog is there to greet children on the front porch steps, it makes it all the more easier for them to cross that threshold. Even when the dog is present, it's still a very scary process for these children who come there to tell a perfect stranger about what happened. This is an opportunity for the children to become more relaxed when the dog is present, and they can spend some time with the dog before going on with the investigative process. This is an example of what a forensic interview should look like. There is a professional who talks with the child about what happened in a non-leading way. That person is supposed to be very neutral. And when the child becomes upset, there's little or nothing that person can do to calm the child. But when a dog is present, lying next to the child during this process, it's much easier for the child to describe what happened. Now I'm going to turn to these dogs assisting in the prosecution of crimes. And the bad thing about the United States is that we require children as young as 4 years of age to testify in court as though they were adults. This is an actual photograph of a 7-year-old testifying in open court against his mother. During this process, he is describing to the jury, with his mother present there, about how she drowned his sister. It makes it much easier for a child to go through this process when the child can be accompanied by a very calm, quiet dog that lies at the child's feet in the witness box. I'm going to show you a short video now about a man who was able to testify in court with the help of Ellie. Douglas Lair, although he's an adult man in his mid-50s, navigated the world as a man with a 6 to 12-year-old perspective on life. He was easily exploited, and a young woman did that and took all of his money away from him. When this finally came to light and the case had been charged and he had to go to trial, he was absolutely petrified. He was so scared he tried to kill himself. But when he met Ellie, he got the courage to do so.
I had given up on all humans and in trusting them, because the humans have done a lot of wrong to me, and it's easier to have faith and trust in the dogs. Because the dogs always give you 100% faith in everything, and they're always there, and humans, well, they leave you. Hello, my name is Douglas Lair. Just recently, I had a court trial with Ellie and Paige, who was the district attorney for the King County Courthouse. And I just want to tell you something. Paige had a new idea to come up with a dog to help me. She's a handicapped dog to help me. Her name is Ellie. And Ellie really helped me get through the trial. For the trial was long and hard, and it was very complicated. They had the district attorney, and they had a lot of other attorneys there. And even preparing for the trial was very scary. And every time that I came to see Paige, Ellie was always there to be with me. It was the one time when I was with all the attorneys and their detectives when they were questioning me in a big round table. They were all sitting around a big round table, and they were all looking at me, and Ellie was underneath the table, and Paige was sitting very close to me, and I was holding on to Paige and Ellie while the questions were being asked. And I was very scared, very nervous. I even wet my trousers a little bit. She didn't even know that. When I first found out that I had to go to the trial, I was very scared, and I did not know what to expect. I'd never been in the courtroom. I'd never been in a jury box. I did not know very much about being with a judge and a jury, and Paige, the district attorney. I never met a district attorney before, and it was very strange. Usually district attorneys are women and men, and let me tell you something, they are very good, and Paige is one of the best district attorneys in the world, and so is Ellie. And we were not allowed to mention certain things during the trial, like the previous jail things or anything, and the dog helped me remember not to mention it and not to get the trial thrown out. The defense attorney reminded me of Cruella de Vil, and Ellie was there to protect me and to make sure that I was safe. She was like the super god that protected me. Defense attorney brought this big manuscript, and she would refer to pages, and Ellie knew I was getting lost and everything, and Ellie just laid there, and Ellie said, "Next page." Ellie just kept telling me what page to read and what paragraph to go on, and then the district attorney and then the judge would get in there, and then the defense attorney would approach very closely, and she was very scary too. She was very scary when she approached me. Ellie came with me to the sentencing, and the sentencing was still very scary because he was without any handcuffs or anything. He was still walking free and being around, and he could walk by people, and he was very scary too, and so was the defense attorney. But Paige was there, and Ellie was there, and they both protected me. I owe Ellie one big hamburger because she really helped me through the trial, and she helped me not be scared and helped get a conviction during the trial. And this was a very hard trial to go through because it was very complicated for the district attorney, and she was able to win the case.
Rewarding things that Celeste and I saw after we interviewed Mr. Lair about what happened to him is that he stood up and exclaimed that he helped clean up the streets of Seattle. And it was so amazing to realize that he had gone into this experience petrified, feeling like a victim, and he came out of it feeling strong and able to confront the people that had done this to him.
We're glad to report that courthouse dog programs are spreading to other countries around the world. This is Hulk, who works up in Calgary in Canada. He is one of over 180 courthouse facility dogs that are working now in the United States and Canada. Canterbury Christ Church University will be the first program in the UK to have a courthouse facility dog. 2 forensic psychologists from their criminology department visited with us during 2017 and also visited here with the Vancouver Police Department and their dog Luca. And these 2 psychologists will be receiving the first courthouse facility dog to work in the UK by the end of January 2018. I'd like to encourage you to look at our website, get a lot more information about how these dogs assist legal professionals with victims, and also to please get in touch with us on our contact page, are our email addresses, our cell phone numbers, and we look forward to hearing from you.